The cover image of the sunflower is actually a composite of multiple images. When we first took the picture of the sunflower, we realized pretty quickly that there is such a range of light in that sunflower that I couldn't in one image get both the very light pieces of the sunflower and the very dark to show up. It's one of the limitations of digital photography that the sensors can only see about 5 stops of light, where our eyes can see about 11 stops of light, so there's a limitation there. What has happened in the last few years is a type of photography that's called high dynamic range, which is a method where you take multiple photographs at different exposures and then you blend them together. So for the sunflower, we took, I believe it was 7 photographs, all of the same sunflower at different stops. So some of them are extremely light and some of them are darker. And using a program called Photomatix, I blended them together to create just one image which had the full range of the light of those 7 photographs, so that you can see both the very light highlights of the petals, but also you can see the details of the disc flowers or seeds in the middle that were very dark to see. For a few images in the book, we needed to do some additional processing to explain a little bit what was going on that we wanted to show. And I got a copy here. Particularly I think the pine cones showed 2 different techniques that we used. One is, and I don't know if you can see on the camera, but there are a series of numbers that number the, going each way, the number of spirals of bracts in the pine cone. It's a real simple technique that we use in Photoshop. Most imaging editing software has it, where you just add layers, like pages on top of other layers. And so you have the basic image of the pine cone, and then on top of that, using a text formatting tool, just put the numbers in where I wanted them. And we basically put the numbers in spirals as well for the whole concept of the spirals. So that was one. What the pine cones also show processing called adjustment layers with masks. So what we wanted to show in the pine cones was be able to really bring out the spirals. And we spent a lot of time trying to figure out what's the best way to do it. We drew lines, we did different things. We came up with this idea where we changed the exposure on alternate spirals. And essentially, using the layer technique again, we added a layer on top of the photograph, which was an adjustment layer, which changed the exposure. It darkened it considerably. And then to that adjustment layer, and I can show here, this technique here, where basically you're adding the layer. This little book shows like a little transparent sheet with an image on top of it that superimposes over the page. That makes the butterfly, in this case, look like it's right on top of the flower and the same picture of the flower. But with the masking, what we did is we masked out, so we hid the adjustment layer that darkened it, except for these portions or these alternate spirals, so that it looks like it's really part of the same photograph. It looks like almost that you've darkened the bracts when you took the photograph, but really what we've done is that we've darkened the exposure on a portion of the photograph.